Hi guys, and welcome back to class. Today, we're going to read the About the Author page at the end of All Quiet on the Western Front. And then I want you to ask yourselves, after you've read it, what do you notice about the author of All Quiet on the Western Front? So I'm going to read this to you. It says, Eric Maria Remarque, 1898 through 1970, was himself in combat during World War I. And was wounded 5 times. The last time very severely. During the post-war years, he taught briefly. He became a stone cutter in the cemetery of Osnabrück, where he had been born in 1898, and served as an assistant editor of Sportsbild. Remarque came to the United States in 1939 and remained for the duration of World War II, but returned to Switzerland after. All Quiet on the Western Front made him rich and world famous at 33, but these consequences did not still his intense determination to concentrate in his fiction among the worst horrors of the age, war, and humanity, with which nearly all of his 9 subsequent novels have been concerned. Fawcett published Remarque's Bobby Deerfield in 1978. So after you've read that about the author, what did you notice about the author of All Quiet on the Western Front? Then look at All Quiet. So originally, All Quiet on the Western Front was written in another language, and then it was translated into English. Can you determine who translated the novel and what language it was originally built in or written in? Why might it be significant to know these biographical facts about the author and the translator? Why might it be significant to know who the author is? These biographical details do not mean that they read the novel as an informational text. Information can be a reminder of the connection between literature and real-world events, and it can suggest the inspiration for the novel's depiction of different aspects of the war, like the front. In this lesson, you will consider the ways in which All Quiet on the Western Front and a painting both depicts effects of the war, and consider how these depictions connect to the overall sense of the effects of war. So looking at our new folk content framing question, what does a deeper exploration of trench warfare in All Quiet on the Western Front reveal? And our craft question in our execute stage, how do I use transitions to create cohesion in an explanatory paragraph? At this time, based on our reading so far, I would like for you guys to update your status reports. You should be analyzing incidences and emotional responses that have taken place and putting them inside of your status reports. So for example, one incident was, for one of them, wounded soldiers, we searched 2 days in vain. So there was one incident where they were searching for wounded soldiers and they searched for 2 days and never found them. In vain means they never got to them. How they felt about that incident was, we would do all that is possible to get the wounded soldier back from no man's land. Without that, for his cry is terrible. So here they're saying that one incident that took place was that they would go out and search for wounded soldiers. And one time they did go out and search for wounded soldiers for 2 days and they didn't find them. And so emotionally, they were very hurt by this. They did all that they could, and they still couldn't find them. And the emotional response was that there was a cry. So I want you guys to analyze a character's reactions to the front. What can you infer from the incidences that you do not have corresponding emotional response in the text? Reading pages 123 through 136, answer these 3 questions. How does Paul's emotional response to his encounter with Himmelstoss reveal the way the front is affecting Paul? How much land have the soldiers been fighting over? And what does Paul's statement, on every yard there lies a dead man, on page 135 mean? And how is changing season a symbol for the ways conditions on the front affect the men in the second company? Remember that description is very powerful, guys. I want you guys to put an asterisk by the paragraph that includes the most powerful description in this section. And this is the section of here, 123 through 136. Find a paragraph that is very powerful with how they describe things. And why is this paragraph's description so powerful to you? For those of you who are at home, you won't be able to work in teams, but I will have your collaborative discussion boards on Schoology. For your explanatory paragraph, I want you to write a question or write a response to, how does a key incident of trench warfare affect the men of the second company? Review the incident that corresponds to the key detail and use that incident and that evidence to collect during the activity to write your explanatory paragraph. Your paragraph is going to be a part of your work with incorporating transitions. So when you write your explanatory paragraph, you need to look back at that handout 13A to help you with choosing your transitions in your writing. Now let's take a look at another painting. How would you describe the use of color in the painting? How does Sargent use shape in the painting? The author's name or the painter's name is John Singer Sargent. Let's look at the word gassed. As a verb, it means to poison with gas. As an adjective, it means drained of energy or exhausted. How do these different definitions inform your understanding of the painting? So in other words, which one of these definitions go with the painting? Do they look like they've been poisoned with gas? Do they look like they are drained of energy and exhausted? How does this depiction of a gas attack in All Quiet on the Western Front compare to your understanding of the word gassed? To end this lesson, we're going to do our content framing question, and we're answering the question in our reveal stage. What does a deeper exploration of trench warfare in All Quiet on the Western Front reveal? And then write a 3-2-1 response. Give me 3 descriptive or sensory details about the conditions of the front, 2 incidents that impact the men during their time on the front, and 1 most significant effect of the conditions on the front on the men. For homework, review your notes and your annotations as we are going to be having a focusing question task on our next lesson. Let's move on into our vocabulary deep dive. So let's look at this sentence. Remember the past, but it ignites unbearable homesickness. What verb moods are used in the sentence? How does the shifting mood impact the clarity of the sentence? And shifts in verb mood within a compound sentence is often inappropriate. So if you look here, you'll see remember the past, but it ignites unbearable homesickness. The first thing you need to do is find the verb moods. I'll give you guys a hint. This first section right here, remember the past, is a verb mood in itself. But here where it says it ignites unbearable homesickness, this is another verb mood. Which one is which? Is it the indicative, imperative? Look at your examples. Remember the past, but it ignites unbearable homesickness. So remember when we were talking about verb mood in our last lesson, review that if you need to. Because first you need to identify the verb moods and then explain how the shifting verb mood impacts your understanding of the sentence and why this verb mood switch is inappropriate. So form one sentence about gassed that contains a shift in verb, mood, and correctly uses the vocabulary words assigned. Use your vocabulary journals and your dictionaries and circulate as students collaborate and share any understandings that you may arise. This will be done inside of Schoology. So here you have these 4 words: beckons, alienation, perpetual, and protrudes. The first thing I would beg you to do is to look these words up so that you know what they mean. That's the main thing. Then you're going to form one sentence about gassed, which is the painting. And when you form that sentence, you need to make sure that it contains a shift in a verb mood. So you're writing a compound, complex, or a compound sentence where one half of the sentence is one verb mood and the other half of the sentence is a second verb mood. So just like here, where we have one verb mood here and then another one here. That's what you're doing, but using these words. Then I want you to review this passage. Soldiers fighting in the trenches suffered unimaginable horrors. Remain alert at all times, and they went without decent food for extended periods of time. Not only was the constant artillery a threat, they even had to fight illness. Why did they even bother trying to stay dry and healthy? All of this waiting was for one order: go over the top. Millions of soldiers died from combat and disease. So here I want you to see if you can find any inappropriate verb mood shifts. And this is usually when something doesn't really make sense necessarily because the verb moods are changing. Then revise the passage and eliminate the inappropriate shifts. So you're going to rewrite this question or this paragraph without the inappropriate verb moods. All right, that's going to be it for this lesson. If you need any help, please come to office hours. See you soon. Bye.